This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
It is in marriage that you learn so much about yourself. That's because marriage shows you what is really within you. But it turns out that this is not easy to see at all. It is not simple and it's not obvious. Throughout 20 years of working with men and women, of all those Larry Bilotta have helped, their biggest struggle, their biggest heartache, their most pressing frustration has been their ability to control their negative emotions. Their failure to control negative emotions led to virtually every problem in their family. When Larry says every problem, he means every problem. Their addictions, disloyalty, struggles with their kids, frustrations with each other, issues surrounding money, struggles with sex, complicated issues with in-laws, everything came down to one thing: negative emotions. Listen to this episode to learn how to regain control over negative thoughts. Valeria interviews Larry Bilotta. He is the author of Soft-Hearted Woman, Hard World. Larry Bilotta is a relationship and marriage expert, author, and speaker, specializing in midlife crisis, and the creator of a series of successful programs designed to help bring couples back from the brink of divorce and coming back stronger than before. Through his Environment Changer courses for men and women, Marriage 101, and others, Larry has helped tens of thousands of people save their sanity, marriages, and regain control over their own lives and mindset. While Larry is not a therapist, he spent years studying psychology, spirituality, and the science of relationships, and explored countless methods from traditional talk therapy to all manner of workshops, until he had a breakthrough that changed his life and transformed his marriage. Larry and his wife remained married for 40 years until her passing in 2019. Through live workshops, talks, and online courses, Larry continues to teach his common sense, accessible, and proven approach to surviving midlife crisis, saving your relationship, and changing your life. Meet Larry at LarryBilotta.com. Here's the interview with Larry Bilotta.
In your own words, who is Larry Bilotta?
Okay, well, let's start with the question, who is Larry Bilotta? And I don't want to focus on who is Larry Bilotta because I haven't done that. I don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because I don't want to think about what I am, what I did, what I've done, how people think of me. I don't think about that at all. What I'm thinking about is how can I make a dent in the world of people who are ready to learn something. And so I'm always thinking about what can I do to affect out there. And I'm not thinking about what do they think about me and who am I, right? So when you ask me that question, I'm thinking, gee, Valeria, I never even asked a question like that.
That's an interesting perspective too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fascinating because that's for some reason it has been, from my own experience, I guess, this deep interest of knowing who I am, perhaps more what than who. So I could relate to this, the body-mind complex, and the world and my environment in a much more loving way. So I guess I was looking for this spiritual me, which I have, and now it seems like I have a very good idea, and it has helped a lot. It might be for that reason that I asked that question.
Okay, so if we think about it in that context,
Yeah.
I don't think thoughts about who am I and try to describe myself as a
Mm.
person. So, because
Yeah.
all of my energy is looking for what difference can I make
Right.
out in the world. And so in the lives of people, how can I make a difference? How have I made a difference? Did I make a difference? Was that a mistake? Did I miss my opportunity to communicate? So that's really the way I'm thinking. But I'm not thinking about who is Larry Bilotta, right? Because if you talk like who's Larry Bilotta, the condensed version of who is Larry Bilotta is a kid from Chicago, Illinois, who grows up on the streets, and his mother and father are entertainers. Okay, there's a piano player and a singer, and they got together and they entertained people, right? And so because they were these entertainers, they were really not into their children. They were really not into nurturing and building up. And my example is my father, who was college educated, never once gave a single thought to the idea that I should get a college education. Never told me I should. Never told me what the value of it was. Never asked me any questions about it. Never brought it up. Now that was really strange.
Yeah.
Because these two people were really kind of oriented to their own particular world. Their children were not their world.
Right.
That was just like a side thing that they had to deal with because they had children. So that's what I call I developed a scale, and in the middle of that scale is what I call the twilight zone. And the twilight zone is where I was raised. I was raised in a place where your parents don't really raise you. They don't teach you. They don't ground you in really good ideas. They basically let you, hey, here's life. Good luck.
Yeah. Yes.
Figure it out, right? So that's where I was raised. I was raised in the twilight zone. So, so as a sense of who is Larry Bilotta, he is a kid who's raised in the twilight zone of raising himself, and because he raises himself, he has to figure everything out from scratch. He has to make all of his own mistakes because there's nobody giving him a guiding hand to say, here's something you ought to think about. Do it this way. Don't do it that. There is nothing like that, right? All I'm doing is like, oops, ow, that hurt, right? Oh, I'll never do that again, right? So that's what I am. I'm raised in the twilight zone.
Wow. But you had mentors, right, Larry? Did you have people that you look up to that guided you somehow?
I wanted mentors, but I never found any people that I actually would identify themselves as a mentor to me. Yeah. Nobody identified themselves as a mentor to me. And so I could meet somebody, be impressed by something they had, but then I didn't actually get them to want to take an interest in me personally and actually say, I want to help you do this. I want to help you become this. I want to help you become a better writer. I want to help you become a better artist or something like that. So wherever I went, I never attracted those people. I never attracted people who could say, I want to be a mentor to you. So that makes me very independent.
Right.
For that very reason.
Yeah, you sound very much like that. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that by now, this being interested in yourself in the sense of having this strong identity as a person, that's a very interesting thing because in spirituality, the deeper we go trying to find the person here, something that's in our core self, we can't really find anything. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, I've heard this beautifully, somebody saying, when I close my eyes, I'm at peace. And when I open my eyes, how can I serve?
Okay. Yeah.
So again, that relates to you.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That be spiritual without trying to be a spirit, not doing spiritual work in a sense, or healing work.
Yeah, you really can't announce that you're spiritual. You can't really announce that you're mature or that you've accomplished anything, or you can't say I'm enlightened. You can't do that.
Yes.
So that's really why we're not here. We're not here for that reason. We're here because we're supposed to all learn something. Yes. And so depending on your belief system, and you're obviously in the cutting edge of advanced thought, and you seem like to me to be a person with like 1,000 lifetimes under your belt. So when we talk about number of lifetimes, that's really why I'm thinking of specifically of the book Destiny of Souls, the book by Dr. Michael Newton. And so that book lays out because what he's doing, he's interviewing people under deep hypnosis. And they're actually talking about their experience between lives. And the book is full of detail about life between lives. Right. And so when you start to learn about your life between lives, you realize, boy, I think, I'm a soul. That's what I am. I'm not a body. I'm a soul. Right. And so when you start to realize the power that souls have, it's like magnificent how much power they have. And so that kind of gives you a sense. And now, so here you are, you're waking up to this idea of reading a book like this, and you're starting to realize, like, oh, I have a lot of power, and I need to use it really well. And so it kind of makes you start thinking about your life in better ways. And so you think, like, I shouldn't really do that because I kind of saw how souls did it in their lives, and they didn't do so well when they thought that way.
Right.
So it's kind of like a great analytical tool to really look at your life honestly and start to redirect the way you make decisions and the way you make choices. Yes,
and it's a beautiful one. I mean, I have to romanticize that idea because I'm very interested in concepts when it comes to, from the human perspective. Yes, yeah. And another thing, you just said something interesting about the soul. I've been introduced to this idea long ago, but I remember when I was a child and then a teenager, kind of having these insights, powerful insights into the reason why we're here.
Okay.
And then love came over and over. The message was love. So it seemed like it was the only purpose, really, to express love. The way we spoke off record about the world of fear, the world of love. Yes. So it's to live in this world of love. That's the reason why we came here. I don't know. Do you see it that way? Is that?
So speaking about souls in the Destiny of Souls book, one of the things you learn in that book is you learn that the souls are very, very free to create anything they want, and they're very powerful. Right. And one of the stories in particular is when a soul has a person who's still here. They're still living in a body. They're still living on the earth. And the person they love is now gone. So they are apart from this person who's here. Right. And so you learn that these people are using their energy to reach people who are living. And that's like a stunning idea. Like, wait a minute, you're dead. You've left here, and now you're reaching out to your wife or husband with your energy. That's what you're doing, and you're doing that right now. And the reason you can't do it is because the energy here is so dense and so thick that you have to wait for the right moment when there's enough of an opening for you to move your energy into this person. And when you start to realize, like, oh, so it's really dense and thick here. Oh, like, so when you see how the souls live, they can go anywhere. They can do anything. They like astounding power to like think something and suddenly it's there. To think something and suddenly exists. Like, that's just amazing. And it actually gives you a perspective that, hey, I'm going to a great place. And by the way, that great place he's writing about is all guided by humor and love. Humor and love is what guides everything there.
Gosh, I love that. I mean, what's not to love about that?
That's what's not to love. But that's very good. By the way, when you grow up in religion of any kind, there's nothing told you about souls.
Yes,
nothing.
That's true.
It's just a word, and it doesn't mean anything to you because nobody's coming back and saying, "Here's the way it happens. Here's the way it works in souls." Right? And so here's a book that's spelling out how all souls are. And so, and where's it coming from? It's coming from people who literally are souls in that spiritual realm. Right. And so, are they going to heaven? No, they're not. They're going between lifetimes. They're going from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, 800, 1,000 lifetimes. Wow. Now, why are they doing it? They're doing it because they want to grow better and closer to perfection. That's what they're doing. And that's why they're doing it. And so it's like a professional athletes. They're getting really good at what they do.
Which is to express love.
Yeah.
Become love itself.
To express love, become love.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's very intuitive and has been this the concept of love in everything that has to do with the world of love, as you mentioned
Yes.
early off record. So, for the audience, Larry, could you describe that again? The difference between the world of love and the world of fear.
Okay, so the world of fear is a place. And when we think about that place, what we want to think about is the television show that was a big hit called Stranger Things. And what Stranger Things did is it illustrated what could be a hell, a horrible place. And that's the place where fear is. And that's the world of fear. And so when you illustrate Stranger Things as fear, now you can go, oh, this is really an ugly place. But not only is it an ugly place because of the way it looks, it's an ugly place because of the ideas that are there. And what's there? 1,000 ideas are there. Ideas like anxiety, doubt, worry, anxiousness, frustration, bitterness, unforgiveness, all these words. We have all these English words, and we can look them up. We can know what they are. Well, all those words are the little portrayal of the world of fear. And so now we leave that world of this dark Stranger Things place, and we go to the world of love. And what's the world of love looks like? It looks like every movie that portrays heaven. That's what it looks like. Every movie that portrays it. And there's a lot of ways movies have portrayed heaven, and they're just delightful and wonderful and everything. And so in the world of love, there's 1,000 ideas there. There's everything like kindness and forgiveness and thoughtfulness and praise and like 1,000 of those, right? Yeah. And so all those are actually not just words. We put words to them. But what are they actually? They are energies. They are energies that are world of love energies. And one of those words that we really love is the word miracle. And so when you look at what's the most known the movie, The Christmas Carol. And Christmas Carol has Ebenezer Scrooge. And in that movie, we see portrayed Ebenezer Scrooge, who his phrase is bah humbug. And when he says that phrase, he does not see the needs of Bob Cratchit and his son, Tiny Tim. He doesn't see the needs of that family. Can't see it. It's totally blind to him, right? So what's he looking at? He's looking at an accounting ledger. That's what he's looking at. He's looking at what he doesn't have. He's looking at negative things. So he's living in the world of fear. And so these ghosts visit him, and then he has a transformation. And now he can see the world of love. And now he sees Tiny Tim, and he sees Bob Cratchit. He sees the needs of the family, and he couldn't see it before. It was blind. He was blind to it. But see, that love, we love the movie. We love that movie, watch it all the time, right? A Christmas Carol is just like a standard thing at Christmas. We have to see it, right? And why do we never get tired of it? Because it's all the ideas of the world of love. And so what's so important about these two worlds is first of all, it's a very simple idea, the world of love and the world of fear. But then when you think about, well, how do I apply for the world of love and the world of fear? Well, all you have to do is live your life, think about a thing you're struggling with, and then ask where I am. And so if you're struggling with, I hear thousands of problems, right? You're struggling in a marriage, let's say. And so your husband, you suspect, is cheating on you. All right, there's one of a billion problems, right? And so now if you want to be in the world of fear, all you have to do is step into that world. And when you step into the world, you're going to start to feel anxious and nervous and uncomfortable and edgy and fearful and doubtful, and all these negative things are start to come over you because you're in the world of fear. Right. Now, once you're there, you now know that something there grabs you. It grabs you and rewards you. You need to be afraid of this. You need to be very afraid that you're going to lose your husband. You can lose him to another woman. And right, all these thoughts start coming at you, and they start grabbing at your legs as if to grab you and hold you, right? Yeah. Right? So now as you're thinking about that, and you think about, wait a minute, this is not the only place. There's also the world of love. I can move to the world of love right now. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, I've got to leave the world of fear, and to do that, I got to start to talk about words that I love, words that I like, ideas that I believe in. So the greatest phrase I've ever heard for this is the phrase, isn't it great that? Isn't it great that? So isn't it great that is the beginning phrase that assumes the good thing you have is already here. Isn't it great that he really feels my love for him and he is drawn to me? Isn't it great that he likes that we are spending our weekends together? And isn't it great that we're getting a lot closer now that we've had these close conversations? Isn't it great that he loves to ride in the car with me and we have long conversations? Isn't it great that he believes that I'm his best friend? Isn't it great? See what I'm doing? I'm assuming that it's already happening. That's why the phrase is so great. Isn't it great that? Right? So now you're saying these ideas. When you're saying them, you're not saying what you believe in. It's not history you're trying to tell. You're not talking about the past.
Right.
You're talking about what's coming. You're talking about the future. Isn't it great that? And then you tell a story. And as you tell that story, you're now moving into the world of love just by telling it. Isn't it great that? And so when you start saying it, you stop saying the world of fear. You stop saying any idea from the world of fear. It's not even there anymore, right? Because the world of fear is a place that grabs you and drags you down. But this world of love, isn't it great that that's the place of the miracle. That's the place where hope is. That's the place where confidence is. That's the place where certainty and all these wonderful ideas are there. Yeah. And so as you move deeper and deeper, as you tell those stories, you don't even have to believe them. You don't even have to believe that they're true. All you have to do is tell stories that are positive. That's all you've got to do. And as you keep telling stories over and over again, isn't it great that? And you keep moving toward, because you want to start the phrase with isn't it great that? And then you have to say something afterwards. What do I say after isn't it great that? Isn't it great that what? Well, you're in the world of love now. What do you feel? What's your emotional feeling of isn't it great that? Well, I guess I got to think about what is good. What's good about my life? What do I like? What am I looking forward to? What's fun? What am I enjoying? Isn't it great that we went to a play, a comedy that turned out to be so funny and we want to go back and see it again, right? Isn't it great that, right? So we can fill in the blanks with anything in the world of love, anything. And as you keep on doing it more and more and more, you're going to start to feel things that you really believe. See, before you were just making up stories. Right. Isn't it great that? But when you start to get deeper into the world of love, you start feeling like, oh, I really believe that. I really feel that. I really like that. I really enjoy that. This is fun for me, right? And the more you tell those stories, the deeper into the world of love you get. And when you're in that world of love, there's nothing grabbing you. Nothing grabs you in the world of love. Nothing tries to hold you. Everything's free will all the time. And so that is a great place to live. And that's actually how you get there. Now, when we're talking about world of fear, world of love, now it becomes like, well, but my father and my mother didn't live in the world of love. Yeah. They were critical. They were fault finding. They were always looking for what was wrong with people. They were judging everybody all the time. And that turns out I have it too. I have all of their messages in me. And so now I'm actually gravitating to the world of fear just by routine, just by following their ways. Right. And now I realize I don't want to be there. Well, there's one thing you can depend on a child. A child always wants to be higher and greater and better than mom and dad. And actually, mom and dad want to help you improve your life better than they had it. That's a big thing for parents, the next generation. Right. And so now you've got them longing for you to have the best opportunities, the best thoughts, the best beliefs, the best values that you possibly can have. Right. And if they did something in the first 10 years of your life and they dragged you down and set you up for failure, well, whose responsibility is for you to leave that place? The place that you were born into is the world of fear. Yes. And now you start to realize, I was born into the world of fear. Thanks, mom and dad. Now I got to climb out, right? Yes. And so now that I know that that's the job, it's climbing out of the world of fear into the world of love, into the place where the miracle is. That's really what I'm pursuing. I'm pursuing the miracle. Because what happened when Bob Cratchit, right, he got the help of Ebenezer Scrooge? Because remember, in the first part of the story, Ebenezer Scrooge is a horrible person who can't see the needs of anyone. Yeah. But when he goes through the transformation of the ghost, he now can see all kinds of things he couldn't see before. Right. And that's what happens to us in the world of love. We start to see things in the needs of people that we can't see before. But I was talking about that destiny of souls. One of the things you learn about souls is their greatest need in all of their lifetimes is the need to build people up, to cause people to improve.
Right.
And that's what they have a passion for as souls. Now, when we get into the body, now we're now into the ego, and we get this whole weight and all that stuff that happens to us.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're really about. We're really as souls, because that's what we are. We're souls.
Yes.
We really need to live in the world of love. We need to get there, and we need to learn how to stay there. And so how do you do that? Well, you get around the most positive people you can find. And that's really what you got to do. And all you have to do is think the thought, I want to find the most positive people, the most helpful people to me that'll keep me in the world of love. Right. That's all you have to do. Ask, and you'll literally get that kind of guidance. Because as you learn from this book, we have guides. We have guides who are guiding us in our lives. Yes. And you know, as a person who really thinks of themselves and identifies with the body, and they really believe in the body, and they really don't believe in spirit or soul or any of that stuff, they don't believe in that. They just are body oriented, because that's kind of where they are. They're right there in the body, right? Yeah. So even if they think in terms of this book, Destiny of Souls, this book sold 2 million copies. Wow. So 2 million people bought this message. 2 million people want to know this message, right? Yeah. So if 2 million people bought this message, it must be kind of important then, I think. There must be people here verifying that this is a legitimate story, right? Yes. So, but there's people who are atheists, people who are agnostic, people who don't believe there's any life after death. Well, now this book comes and lays it all out. Hey, there's not just life after death. There's life after life after life after life after life. And you're living all these lifetimes because you never die. Why? Because you're immortal. Right. You're immortal, right? They made a movie called The Immortals. Yeah. And the Immortals were people in bodies, and they had superpowers, right? Yeah. And so we look at that and we admire them and like, oh, wow, living forever. Well, we live forever. We live forever either here or over there, over here or over there. That's what we do. We're immortal everywhere. And we have to think that way. We have to think about, we're immortal beings. Yes. We're not people stuck in bodies that die. We're not that. We're immortal beings, and we have to see ourselves that way, because that's a part of seeing yourself as an identity that causes you to make better world of love choices. Right. And actually puts you in the world of love, where you can actually live there and actually have a great life there.
Yes.
So you asked me when I got here, how are you today? Well, how am I? I'm living in the world of love, and man, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. How beautiful. Thank you so much for the confirmation. I usually say it that way because it's kind of just resonating in the heart with the knowledge that's already here. So that's really beautiful to hear. It feels like a song to me, listening to you. It's like a meditation, a beautiful chant. Thank you. So is this something that you, let's say, guide your clients to get a glimpse into, to understand more deeply?
So my little snap of a story is I lived 27 years of a marriage made in hell, and the 28th year I fell in love with my wife. Well, that's the story that I tell, right? And so what happened? Because I was married 40 years to Marcia, and Marcia was the strongest, toughest, roughest woman in the world, and I couldn't compete with her on any level. She was really, really strong, and because she was so strong, I learned a lot from her. I learned so much over these 40 years that I could create a course that literally teaches people about all these ideas. Right? Yes. So I could create a course. Why did I create a course? Because she was a very painful person to be with. And so why is that a good thing? It's a good thing because when you have pain, you are going to learn. If you are happy and everything's going wonderful, you're not learning anything. Nobody learns at Disneyland. Nobody learns in Disney World. They don't learn anything. Why? They're too happy, right? The only time you learn at Disneyland is when you go with your family in the hottest summer day ever, and now you're in pain, and now you're suffering, and now you're going to learn. Yes. That's the only time you learn at Disneyland. Makes sense. So in other words, you learn when you're suffering. You learn when you're hurting. But that's really the question. What am I learning from this? And when you ask that question, that's a great question. That's the mark of the mature. The mature ask that question. The immature ask, why is this happening to me? Yeah. That's what the immature ask. But the mature ask, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
And so I know what it's like to ask, why is this happening to me? I know what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had to suffer through that, because I had this really tough, hard woman who was very hard to be around.
Right.
And because she was so hard to be around and so difficult, I learned endless amounts of stuff from her. Because people say, well, how did you create this course? Get married to Marcia for 40 years and you'll have a course too.
Yes. That is cute. That's funny, but I know that's, yeah, thank you for saying yes to the journey, because that's another part of it, because it has been my experience too, saying yes to very hard relationships and being in it and learning so much. Is that something, I take it that that's the inspiration for you to be doing what you do as a relationship and marriage expert.
So the picture is, I'm in a marriage for 40 years, so a very, very difficult woman. Yeah. And because I'm with this very, very difficult woman, I chose to be a learner. Right. Because one of the things that the world says, and I say the world, I'm talking about pop culture, and I'm talking all this stuff that surrounds pop culture and the way they think. And I'm saying, what do they say about bad marriages? They say, run away. That's what they say. Right. And not only do they say it, but the family and the friends and the relatives all say it. Right. Oh, honey, I don't want you to suffer. Run away. Get away. Get a divorce. You can find better than this, right? That's what they do, because they don't love your spouse. They don't love your spouse. They love you. Mm. And because they love you, they want to protect you. And so that's why they give the advice they give, run away. And then you can get therapists, and the therapists are saying, run away.
Yeah, same thing.
Let me help you. Let me help you let me help you get a divorce. Let me help you get into the thinking of divorce. Right. Let me be your divorce counselor. Right. Yes. So running away is the pop culture's world of how to deal with marriage. Right. So what they want to do is they want to say, this is a starter marriage. I'm going to go get another marriage. And when I get that marriage, what do? I bring my childhood with me. Yeah. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about I bring my childhood with me. Right. And they don't even know what that means. What do you mean I bring your childhood with you? What does that mean? It means whatever happened to you in the first 10 years is in your mind. And because it's in your mind, you're going to take it into the next relationship. Right. So now the question is, are you going to learn now while you're hurting? Or are you going to run away and think you'll get a fresh start? Because that's how the pop culture world lives. True. Get a fresh start, run away.
Yes. Yeah.
So real popular.
Yeah, it is. It is. And of course, I thought about it too, but I didn't do it. So what comes to mind as a question for you? Where do we have a guideline per se of what to not just expect, but what to take from a relationship that's not working? Let's say physical abuse. That's a no.
Okay,
right,
so
Larry?
when we're talking about abuse, we're talking about the police department. Because when we're talking about abuse, could you imagine calling the police and saying, officer, my wife is emotionally abusing me and I can't take it anymore. Can you come to the house? And they say, you know what the answer is going to be? Oh, sir, we only deal with physical abuse. We don't deal with emotional abuse. That's your problem. You can go see a therapist for that, right? So that's what the police would tell you, because they don't deal with emotional abuse. And yet emotional abuse is the most traumatizing thing that people live with. That's emotional abuse. Yeah. That's what they struggle with. So what people ask a lot about is physical violence. Why do you even want to talk about physical violence? Why do you even want to think about it? I mean, if you're in a place where physical violence is happening, that's because you chose it. Because you learn in this Destiny of Souls, you learn that people choose their lifetimes. They actually choose the world they love. They actually choose who they marry. They choose who their parents are. Everything's chosen. It's all figured out. It's all known. No surprises. Nothing's unknown. And so when you realize, oh my God, this is all planned. Well, what about all those women's shelters? What are those for? Well, that's all part of the way you run away. You want to run away to safety, right? Because you thought, like, you see when the people choose these lifetimes, there's guides there, and they guide you in your choice of lifetime. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to choose a life that has physical abuse, you're actually choosing a life because you want to advance very quickly. And that's why you choose it. You choose a physical abuse because that's going to advance your learning very, very fast.
Wow.
And so these people choose it on purpose. Like, wow, you chose that on purpose. Like, I had no idea you did that. Like, I like to think of like abuse shelters. That's where for victims. And everybody who thinks like a victim is there. Everybody who is a victim is there. And so that's not a helpful place. Because when you make yourself into a victim, that you're now saying, I am no longer responsible. And when you say I'm no longer responsible, you're now unplugging the plug from what you're supposed to do to live in the world of love. Because now you can say, I'm in the world of fear because I'm a victim. I am a victim and I like being here. I like being I like what I'm doing in this world of fear, and I'm going to stay here. So that's what victim does. Victim does that all the time.
Yes. So that's a huge message for all of us, right? It's one that it's different for everyone because some people are in that victim mentality. They don't want to hear anything else because they already pulled the plug, as you said. Yes. They're not living their soulful life.
That's right.
Yes, how amazing. Yes, it resonates with me. Wow. Yeah. So, I didn't expect to talk to you about the soul, so this is amazing. Yeah.
So Valeria, but when I'm talking about the soul, I'm not talking about something lofty and strange and weird and distant and far away. I'm not talking about that. Right. I'm talking about a book that sold 2 million copies, a book that spells out what's real. And why is it real? Because he's interviewing people, and now we're not talking about 5 people. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of interviews. Yeah. This guy's work has been going on for 30 years. This Dr. Michael Newton's been going on for 30 years with this. So this is no small thing. This is a really big thing that exposes what religion didn't want to tell us. Right. Religion didn't want to tell us about the soul. And I grew up in a Catholic church, and I had no information about the soul. All I knew was soul was a word, and it was a word with no meaning. And so that's what I got after coming out of the Catholic Church, because there was nothing to teach me that this world of souls actually existed. And the Catholic Church will not even acknowledge multiple lifetimes. They say, hey, you live once, then you're dead. And that's like, gosh, you guys didn't even tell me close to the truth. Like, why did you even say that, right? So when I'm talking about the soul idea, people think because soul is not anchored in society, it's not anchored in pop culture. The closest they'll get is the idea of soulmates. They like that idea of soulmates, but they don't really understand it, right? So it turns out there is soulmates. Here's a book on Destiny of Souls. There is soulmates. And these people are brothers and sisters and husbands and all these things. These are all these relationships, and these people are soulmates. Right. And because they've got this whole idea, they think, wow, that's something I can do. Because I know these people. I know these people. And so you start to expose yourself to these kinds of ideas, you're going to expand your way of living, your way of life. Right. And that's just a piece of really good information that I think we should have and make it practical, not make it weird and spiritual.
Right, and abstract. Yes, I absolutely agree. So you it feels to me like you are creating this space to ignite the soul so it can, let's say, do its job, flourish again, and just, come from a place of love again and be in the world of love. That's truly, truly beautiful.
So if we go back to the practical idea we started with, the world of fear and the world of love, you can be really, really practical and body-based and still know, there really is a world of fear. There really is a world of love. I don't know much about the world of love, but I know a lot about the world of fear. And because I know a lot about the world of fear, and I live in the world of fear and spend a lot of time there, I got my theories about what I can do there. And so I'm thinking I can succeed in the world of fear. And when you think you can succeed in the world of fear, now you're thinking about a really positive word called success. And you're putting it into the world of fear. Well, like, how distorted is that?
Yes.
Like success and fear? That doesn't even go together.
No.
That doesn't even match. Like, why would you even think that? right?
Yeah.
So if we get into really
Yeah.
practical things like how should I live my house? Live in my house? Should I buy my house or should I not? Or should I sell my house or should I not? See, these are real practical things that the world loves. They love thinking about houses and cars and
Yes.
right, cats and dogs and children's clothing, right? They love all these
Yeah.
practical things and they flourish in there. But when they're flourishing in there, they're not flourishing because they're still living in the world of fear.
Right.
Because privately in their hearts and in their minds, they're still living in fear. And the way we know that is as we can look in their lives, as we dig a little deeper, like I do, and I get into people's lives, and I get to see how they think.
Yeah.
I get to see what they believe. I get to see how they feel, and I see how they're living in the world of fear, and they don't know it.
Right.
And so that's when I bring them the two worlds, and they start going, "Oh, so I actually can move to the world of love," and it's really weird to them. It's really strange. It's not something they're comfortable with at all. And so that, like, isn't it great that, getting out of the world of fear, that whole idea is really foreign to them, and they find it very awkward, and they find it like themselves, like, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. Oh my God.
I'm so attached to fear, I just can't even think about it.
Yes, gosh. I mean, it just has been wonderful to talk to you. I'm hearing. I mean, it's almost like it feels exactly like that. Truthfully, like a chant, like this most beautiful song. So thank you. Your voice, not just the voice, the physical voice, the sound. I hear a chant that's coming from the soul. So it's so beautiful. Thank you, Larry.
Well, it's good to know I'm married to a Buddhist.
Yes, that makes sense too.
So when my wife died in 2019, I married a Buddhist after knowing her 1 year, and I just knew that she was my spiritual counterpart.
Right.
And so she was a match for me in every way.
Yes, Buddhism has been very close to my heart too.
Yes.
Zen and Tibetan. So, when you talk about the world of fear and the world of love, it makes me think about A Course in Miracles. Are you familiar with that book?
Yes.
Yeah. So they
Absolutely.
talk a lot. Yeah, that's their main kind of message too.
That's right.
And also the law of attraction. That's what I thought about for a moment. But going back to your work, we're almost at the end. Gosh, Larry, I could talk to you forever about this. I could just stay here forever. But I love the website. It says it only takes one person to heal a marriage, and it's never too late to save it. So that's really a powerful statement that now, throughout this conversation, it became very clear to me why. Once you realize that you're a soul, that you have all this power, that you can move your emotions and you can do so much more than you think we can. It's almost like becoming this unlimited kind of source of energy within the limitations of the body and mind.
Yes.
Right?
That's
Bringing the infinite into the finite. That's what
right.
it feels like.
That's exactly it.
So, and then you also say, once you are no longer dependent on others to make you happy, everything changes. That's another message. And you talked about negative emotions. That's another thing that really, because the world of fear, right? So you explained that really well too. Gosh, what else? And I want to mention that there's a free guide that you offer. It's titled 7 Ways You Are Pushing Your Spouse Even Further Away, for men and women. So
Yes.
I have them here, and you offer them. I'll have the link for everyone who's interested in your work, and I hope everyone is. We want this to become more mainstream. Gosh, that would be amazing to see this on TV, right? Oprah Winfrey and all those people just talking more about this. So she does actually. She talks a lot about the soul, but maybe not everyone has. Do you think it takes courage, Larry, to live in the world of love? Is that something that's missing?
So if we go back to the Christmas Carol movie, the Christmas Carols movie has been not done once. It's been done like 10 times. And why is it done 10 different times with 10 different actors? Why is it done over and over again? Because everybody wants another take at it. They want another look at A Christmas Carol.
Mm.
They want to see another Bob Cratchit. They want to see another Tiny Tim. They want to see Ebenezer Scrooge. They want to see him transformed, and they want to see how it happens, and they want to see it again in this version, right? So what are we doing? We're saying, I'm really attracted to love. I love that movie ending. It really made me feel good, right? So if I'm living in the world of fear and I want to go see A Christmas Carol, what am I doing? I'm leaving the world of fear for a very short time. I'm leaving it, and what am I doing? I'm attaching myself to a movie called A Christmas Carol. Right. And I attach myself to the movie pulls me out of fear. The movie does it. Like, who the fuck, right?
Right.
The movie Christmas Carol pulls me out, and it feels really good. And so around the Christmas time, that's also the time that they play It's a Wonderful Life, which is like another version of A Christmas Carol, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so we see these movies. What are they all about? They're literally dragging you out of the world of fear and moving you into the world of love, because that's what the ending of those movies is doing. Right. It's saying, this is the world of love. You feel it? You look at these actors. You like these actors? This is how that makes you feel, because they pull you out of fear. And while they pull you out, what are you doing to get out and stay out?
Yes.
Well, nothing. You're doing nothing. You're letting the movie do the whole thing. Right. And so when the movie ends, you just get this feeling and go, yeah, that was really nice how Ebenezer was really a nice guy after that. Oh, yeah, that felt good. Yeah. And then they drift back to fear. They drift back. And where are they going? They're going back to the messages of childhood. They're going back to the place where they're really comfortable. Truthfully, they're comfortable. They're comfortable in their childhood home.
Interesting.
And so that's where they go back to. And so when we're talking about people who were raised at the bottom of the chaos to purpose scale, and the 5 down to 0 is this chaos to purpose scale, where you're abandoned, you're abused, you're neglected. When you have those experiences happen to you, they're emotionally a part of you. They're deeply a part of you. And those things, those ideas, they drag you into fear because that's where you're comfortable. That's where you're at home.
Right.
So if you watch the Christmas Carol is going to drag you out of the world of fear for a very short time, and that's going to let you go. Goodbye. You're going to go back to the world of fear.
Yes. Gosh. So that when it comes to, so it doesn't take courage. It's actually practice, isn't it?
It does take, because there's nothing courage required. Because when we're talking about courage, we're talking about something daring. We're talking about something cutting edge. We're talking about something standing up and saying, I'm not doing that this way. I'm not doing that. And you're telling people that care about you, people who know you, like you, and trust you. You're telling them ideas that they don't want to hear. Right. And when you tell people that you love and you know ideas they don't want to hear, that takes courage. Because those people are going to test you.
Yes.
They're going to say, oh, get out of here. You don't believe that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So,
and they're not going to say, come back to the world of fear. They're not going to say that because they don't know there is such a place. They're just living in it. They don't know there is such a place.
Right. That's incredible how much of our lives are lived in realms that we are not even aware of.
Yeah. Well, awareness is the whole reason we come here. We come here to grow awareness. And we become aware. The more we become aware in this lifetime, the better it is for us, because we're now having a successful life. A successful life. When I think of my younger years, and I think about when I first was married to Marcia. By the way, if we want to give that a time frame, they impeached Nixon the year I married Marcia. They impeached Nixon the year I married Marcia. And when I married Marcia, I hated her. I hated her. And I would say things to her like, you're going to make me die.
Nice.
And you know what she would say? Good for you.
Oh, no.
Right? But what was it? Why were we talking like that? We were talking that way because we were born in the world of fear. Yes. We didn't know anything else. We spoke the language of the world of fear.
Right.
We didn't know where love was. Love was nowhere. Right? But we had to find a way. I had to find a way to get out of where I was. Yes. And so what I used pain to do it. Pain made it possible for me to get out of this world of fear and get into the world of love and actually start to stay there for a practice. Yeah. And so that I think if you say it took courage, I think day by day, it takes courage to keep sticking with the leaving the world of fear. To leave the world of fear, to start saying good ideas and start speaking positively. When you do that, that does take courage, especially when you're around people who don't want you to have those things.
Yes.
They're critical, they're blaming, they're fault finding, and they want to use peer pressure to drag you down. And it takes courage to stand up in the middle of that and say, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that anymore.
Yes.
That takes courage.
Yes. Gosh, the question that comes to mind is, so is it, how was it for you, and how do we kind of measure that when it comes to being in a relationship with somebody that's constantly going back to the world of fear, and we are really kind of helping them or trying to help them to be more in the world of love. So when it doesn't happen, when they keep going back to the world of fear, do we just become neutral and let it flow?
There really is no neutral. So the world of love and the world of fear, what's in between them? We like to say neutrality is between them.
Yeah.
Right? But to be neutral, truly neutral, emotionally neutral, is like a pretty strong world of love kind of idea. Yeah. To be neutral, you have to have good control of your emotions.
Yeah.
So you really can't really be neutral, like you're going to be in a safe place between these two worlds.
Right.
Because what the truth is, we're really afraid of love. All of us are. We're all afraid of love.
Yeah.
And for us to not be afraid of love, we've got to learn what love is.
Wow.
And we have to see where love is. And one of the places we can see it is in movies. We can see movies show us what love is. Because what do movies do? And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of movies.
Yeah.
What movies do is they give us a happy ending. Yes. And what is a happy ending? It's an ending that ends with love.
Yeah.
What do most movies end with? Family, being close, love. That's what most movies end with. Well, that's a great way to start to move out of the world of fear and start to get some lessons about how do I get out of this world of fear and get into this world of love? Right. How do I start thinking these really positive thoughts that actually move me into the world of love and out of the world of fear? Right. What can I do? How can I do it? And so when you think of self-help books, he's dead now, but what's the author that gave us erogenous zones? Wayne Dyer? Wayne Dyer. So he died some years ago. Yes. And he wrote a book called Your Erogenous Zones, right? A weird title, right? And it's your erroneous zones is what he's saying. These are the places where you have error. This is the place where you're having mistakes. Right. And so the zones where you live in these mistakes are where you don't want to stay. And so that's a really good book. Right. That's a really good book to help you snap out of it and start to see, and by the way, he wrote that from his personal life experience. Right. Because this is an author who admits that he peed on his father's grave. Like, well, that's a lot of hatred right there, right? Yeah. Yeah. So here you want to take the advice of a guy who's failed very badly, and that would be a guy who's done that. And so if he can help you get out of these error places, these places where you're living in fear, that would be a great book to start. Your erroneous zones.
Right. Oh, those suggestions are amazing. In your website too, there's so much there. So you offer programs, courses. I have them here, webinars, the free guides. So everything is on your website, larrybilotta.com/7 ways. But I'll have both links here for the audience. Wow, Larry, what's not to love about this conversation? I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to take this more of we call it spiritual, but actually, as you said, it's just natural. It's just what we are, really. We're spiritual beings, and some of us don't know. Maybe some of us are not ready to recognize that as true.
No, so we're not. And so let's think in terms of the number of lifetimes we've lived. And so if you're a fairly young soul who maybe had 100 lifetimes, and in 100 lifetimes, maybe you haven't learned very much. So what are we talking about? What are you learning? What kind of learning are you doing? Well, you're learning about patience. You're learning about forgiveness. You're learning about kindness. You're learning about patience. You're learning about compassion. These are all big ideas in the spirit realm, really big ideas.
Yeah.
And these are the things can only be learned here. They can't be learned there. There's no learning going on there.
Right.
That's not the learning that means anything. The learning that means stuff is the learning that's made here. Because remember, what we have here is we have ego here.
Yes.
And this is a very thick, very dense world.
Yeah.
And because it's so thick and so dense, we don't learn very fast.
Right.
And that's why we have 80, 90 years to be here.
Right.
Because we hope we're going to learn some of these really love ideas, these big love ideas, like kindness and compassion and forgiveness, right? But there's people who die at 85 years old and never learn any of it because they attached to the world of fear, they stayed in the world of fear, and they thought they were successful in the world of fear.
Yeah. Yes.
And so consequently, they've had 100 lifetimes, but they haven't really gone anywhere, right? But then you have really old souls. And old souls have, like 1,000 lifetimes. And they keep their learning from lifetime to lifetime. Now, they come into every new body with amnesia. They don't remember anything.
Yeah.
But the imprint of what they learn stays with them. And so the imprint of compassion, the imprint of patience, the imprint of kindness, the imprint of thoughtfulness, that stays with them. And so that's really that's why the world, even pop culture, says she's a very old soul.
Yes.
That's why you hear that comment.
That's
like,
true.
how do you know she's an old soul?
Right.
Because she knows things. That's why. She knows things.
Yes, yes. I love that you're bringing this education in reminder too for some of us. Yes, some of us don't know. Some of us need to be reminded of these things, and it's just crucial to me. So you speak directly to my heart because that's what my point of
Valeria, this is called a quest for well-being. Right?
Yes,
this is called a quest for well-being.
Yes.
So, what does the quest for well-being mean? It means that I'm searching for where well-being is. Right. That's like, I don't know where it is. This is the quest. This is the search. We don't know where it is. Yes. Where is well-being? Right? We don't know. Right? So we have to have a sense of some teacher, some idea, some way of learning that I need to get into this world of love, because in the world of love, that's where all the learning is going to be landing. And that's where I'm going to actually keep it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to apply it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to start experiencing it. It's all going to happen there. But if I stay in the world of fear, there is no learning there. There's intellectual learning there. I can learn about science. I could learn about education. I could learn about politics. I could learn about all kinds of things in the world of fear. But it doesn't mean anything at all because you're in the world of fear, doggone it. And nothing's going to stay with you that's going to mean anything. Because in the ultimate story of what we're trying to do here, we want to make a difference in the lives of other people. Yes. We want to actually reach out and change where a person is thinking. So they thought this negative way, and now they're thinking this very positive way. That's a life that was changed. Yes. And that's what's really worth it. I've had people tell me, "Oh God, you got to be on Oprah." And I said, I haven't changed enough lives to be on Oprah.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. It's a merit in a way. That's beautiful. Wow, I love everything about your message, about you, about your work. I mean, it's just a ball of love. That's what it feels like. So thank you so much for this embrace that has been felt. And for those listening, that's my wish, that this is passed on to them too. It's really beautiful what the choice that you have made. I guess the soul is making choices, right? We have free will to a certain extent, and the rest is just it's a flow, from what I understand. So you have been making a lot of those choices from your free will. So
it seems like we don't have much free will here, because when you're in the world of fear, free will even seems like it's not even existing as a thing. It's not even like an existent idea. Free will, what is that? Right?
Yes.
Well, you don't know, right? Because in the world of fear, there's a lot of strong ideas there, like arguments, like being right, like winning, like defeating somebody, beating people at something, right?
Yeah.
So all the ideas are there that people can grip onto and say, I got to get this.
Yeah.
And so you got a lot of get this energy in the world of fear.
Right.
But that's all part of the world.
Yes.
I got to get this,
Yeah.
right? In the world of love, there is no competition. There's only cooperation in the world of love. There's only what can I do to help you get further in your life, further in your understanding, further in your progress. That's all I want to do is help you get further. Why? Because when I help you get further, I get further. And that's not the world of fear. In the world of fear, I got to compete with you and I got to beat you, and that's how I get to the top, right? So that's a world of fear idea, right? And everybody knows that, especially if you watch really competitive, angry movies. But even competitive, angry movies have lessons of love in them at the end, right?
That's true.
Because they have a story called The Hero's Journey. You heard about the Hero's Journey, right? The Hero's Journey is you start out real immature and you try and take and grab. But as you go through your transitions and through your I'm thinking particularly of John Wick, right? And that's a guy that doesn't even look like he learned anything, right? But he has to go through this great trauma in order to learn something at the end of this 3-part movie, right? But we see this, we get to see this, and remember, we don't get to keep movies very long. We keep them for a very short time. Speaking of actors, I'm thinking about the movie The Matrix, and that's a movie that's quoted a lot, because it's an analogy for this place. It's an analogy, right?
Yes.
And so as you start to look at when people start looking at Matrix analogies, especially young people, they really latch onto it and really like it a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So I like to use Matrix analogies a lot because that's actually a lot of the learning that we do. Because when you start to see the characters in the Matrix, you start to see that what Neo does is he does out of love.
Right.
Love for Trinity. That's what that's what we can understand. We can understand that, right?
Yes.
So we see all kinds of lessons. All kinds of movies have all kinds of lessons.
Yes, they serve as a reference. Yes,
because they help us understand things and see things and be able to talk about things, that we wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, that's it, Larry. Thank you so much again for everything. Gosh, for all your generosity. It was part of love, of course. Yeah, you just giving. And you said that in the very beginning, I'm here. It's not about me. It's about how much I can contribute, how much I can serve. So that's very clear to you. So it really is the voice of the soul. That's it's coming back to me over and over again as a melody, as a song. So thank you so much again for your beautiful presence in our reality, our 3D reality. And we'll be in touch again. Is there anything that you left unsaid for this conversation, Larry?
It's a little idea. It's a very little idea. And sometimes I'm criticized for it. But the little idea is what got me through really tough times, really tough spots where I got disheartened and got depressed and was in the world of fear and couldn't get out. What really was one idea that really meant something to me and actually gave me the drive to start moving to the world of love, out of the world of fear, was the idea that there's always a way. There's always a way. Now, that sounds like, well, that's kind of shallow. What does that mean, right? There's always a way. What do you say? So what I'm saying is, in the world of fear, which is our world, by the way, our world is the world of fear. In the world of fear, everything is discouraging. Everything's critical. Everything's fault-finding. Everything's blaming. Everything's shooting yourself in the foot. There's all kinds of horrible ideas in this place.
Right.
And it's so discouraging to be here. It's so disheartening. It's so thick and hard and just burdened and loaded down with weight that when you take an idea, there's always a way. What does the world of fear say? There is no way. That's what the world of fear is always saying. There's no way. Oh, come on, there's no way. That's right. And people express it all the time, right?
So true. Yes.
So when you say there's always a way, and you got to keep on repeating it, there's always a way.
Right.
There's always a way. And as you keep on repeating that idea, there's always a way, what happens is your mind starts to take on the energy of the statement.
Right.
the energy of the statement is, because remember, every word that we have in the English language is a bunch of synonyms around it. So every word has synonyms. Right. And collectively, the synonyms and the word itself are like a particle of energy. Because we put words into it which are sounds. Yeah. But when we take the English language and say, well, a word is not just a word, it's an energy container.
Right.
And so when you say the words, there's always a way, that's a very powerful idea in a world that says there is no way.
Right.
Very powerful, because it undoes there is no way. And so what it does, also, it starts to build your mind into a thought that there is always a way, and you say it again and again and again. And every time your mind hears there's always a way, what it starts to think is, I don't know the way, but there is a way.
Right.
I don't know there is, I don't know, but there is. There is a way. And that's why it's so freeing. There's always a way is a way to leave this dark, negative, critical world. There's no way.
Yes.
And that's really why I love that phrase. There's always a way.
Yes, I love that too. Yes, as a reminder. So I'm just kind of chanting that here for myself. Yeah. The mind needs to be trained over and over again. It's an unlearning process. Amazing.
Yes, it does.
Thank you so much again, Larry. And we'll talk soon. I'll talk to you off record. But for now, we'll be in touch again.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Larry.
you again for your
All
passes.
Right.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Larry Bilotta and his work, please visit LarryBilotta.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.